Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here with Black Flag E-Racing TV, and we are back on Monday evenings. And here it is, the GR4 Lottery, just what you've been waiting for. For those of you who've never seen this before, 15 cars, 15 drivers, cars allocated on a lottery basis, and that's it. Basically, you get your car, it's allocated to you, and you've got to drive it no matter what car you get. We have how many in the lobby this evening? We've got 11 of the 15 here this evening, and we are moments away from the one lap qualifying shootout. That's what it is. So very quickly, before the qualifying starts, let's have a quick look where we're at. So this is the current standings after the first round. VR46 currently leading the pack with the Genesis, 69 points after 3 races last week. Kevin in the Cayman, 68 points just behind him. We've got Aussie in the Huracan, and Aussie looking very, very strong for this tournament already. Then we've got Wiggy in the Atenza, PM10 in the McLaren, Mr. Cool in the phenomenal GTR, TJ in the Renault Megane, good car that. G-Mac running the M4, Avalon in the Alpha 155, the best car for me at GR4. Nick in the WRX, Phil running the F-Type. Jay runs the AMG, not with us tonight, but hope to see you soon, Jay. Grizz will be running the Fezzer if he races. I'm not sure he's racing tonight. Yellow Sausages, good to see you back, buddy, in the Lancer. And Cool Runnings, finally back with us. Takes the last and final car, which is the Corvette C7. So it's going to be a really interesting one-lap shootout. Looking forward to seeing just where everybody turns out. So, without further ado, I think we go straight into the action. So we have got with Stephen Craig in the GTR. There is Yellow Sausages running that Mitsubishi Lancer. Stormfly, there he is in the Genesis, currently leading the championship. PM10 going the wrong way in the McLaren. And unfortunate with your holiday, buddy, we weren't expecting to see you this week, but everything went horribly wrong with your holiday. Hope the new holiday will make up for what you missed out on. Aussie in the Huracan. There is Phil running the F-Type Jag. Good car, that F-Type. Wiggy in the Atenza. No, he's not happy with his car, but round here it's a very, very strong car. Nick John Baker in the WRX. There's Kevin there in that very, very good Porsche Cayman. Avalon in the beautiful 155. And TJ in that Renault Megane. So 11 runners. Anyone else that's due to be running tonight? To be fair, more people signed up tonight than have turned up, which is surprising. Was expecting a full lobby tonight, bar Jay. So quite surprised that a few haven't turned out, despite checking in for the race. But we hit this one lap qualifying. Very simple, you do your out lap, you then hit the... there we go, so we're just going to start that one lap qualifying now. There is that reset. So anyone that wants to join, this is your last chance. Everyone's got their cars allocated. There is no excuses. This is the second, actually, of a couple of races this week in the, on Dragon Trail Seaside. We had one brilliant race last night in the Lithuanian National Championship, GR3 here, where everybody, bar 2 people, melted it into the chicane of death, which is it's not fun if you're one of those people doing it. Just waiting for the room to update. We can bring the table back up again, have another little looky at what's what. So still waiting for a few people to join us. If they do, not long left before they get the opportunity. Cool Runnings, be good to see you getting that Corvette out of the garage. It was 3 races, 30 minutes. You can use any tyres you want. the BOP is turned off and you are restricted to 700 pp. So you can do whatever you want to do with that car to get it to the state you want it. So whatever little modifications you want to do, whatever tuning you want to do, as long as you keep under that 700 pp, the opportunity is there for you to do what you want. And I apologise for the slowness with getting the lorry back up and running. Everything's running very slow today for some reason. But one lap shootout. So you do one out lap, you do one racing lap, and then you park the car at turn number 2. So there we go. So everybody jumping out to do their hot lap. So far only 7 in the room. Now we've got 8. Is that going to increase? We've got 15 people with 15 cars, so we expect to see a bigger number out there. But Kevin first out on the track. Let's go on board with Kevin in that Porsche Cayman on his out lap. And I'm hoping I don't lose my voice. I had to speak a lot last night during the Lithuanian Championship. There was a lot going on. But there is some new stuff coming up on Black Flag Racing TV. Obviously we've got this every Monday. We've got the Lithuanian Championship on a Sunday. But starting this Saturday is the Super Formula Championship. And this is going to be the first of many, I hope, in that Super Formula format. We're looking forward really to an amazing set of races with those Super Formula cars on Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings. This is the trickiest part of the racetrack, as anyone that drives this track will know. And damage is on light rather than heavy. Heavy damage is absolute carnage on this racetrack. You know, you hit that chicane of death, and the next thing you're doing is going around this corner and pulling off into the pits to repair that damage. So here we go. This corner very important. You want to get on the power as quickly as possible. Head up the road and you're staying on that left hand side of the racetrack. You cross the line to start your quick lap. Let it drift as far left as you can. You're turning in here. You catch this early apex. You're looking for your brake point on the right hand side. Now first here is slow here, so you can get fast out of this corner. You want to get on the power as soon as possible out there. You're hugging this left hand side all the way up, and a good turn in here. You don't have to lift. Good turn, and then you're braking just about here down into second, maybe third gear if you're Kevin, and then you're going under the bridge here where you hit your first split time, 34.5, not a bad split. You stay to the right hand side. There is a little dab. You change down, get it hugging that left hand side, and then you are full on the power. You turn right, you turn left, full power all the way through, using as much of the curbs as possible. Going down the hill, under the bridge, it follows round to this left hand side. Then you're looking for your brake point on the left, that 150 metre board. That's where you're starting to brake, at the 100 metre board. Bang, down into second. Again, third gear if you're in the Cayman. And then you're on that power into the tricky part of the circuit. You take all the curb you like here and all the curb you like here, and this is where you lift off, get it turned in, miss that little bit of wall there, and then you're on that power. And if you miss the wall, you are safe for another lap. A big braking point coming up here, 100 metre board, just after, on those brakes, down into third gear in the Cayman. Hug that inside line, and then you're on the power again to complete a lap. So far, Craig with a 1:41.9. What's Kevin got for us? Kevin crosses the line with a 42.0. So not the fastest lap of the race. This is why I love things like one-shot qualifying. So Craig on pole with a 1:41.9. Avalon Shadow in the Alpha of 42.2. What a lap from him. Kevin only on the second row, 43.0. Nick John Baker, a 43.7. And Wiggy puts himself up onto the second row with a 42.8. That puts Phil into fifth, 45.6. Up into fourth goes Phil actually. PM10 in, where's he gone? He was in fifth place. He disappeared. So there we go. That is the one-shot qualifying over. Don't know why they're going back to the pits. You're supposed to stay on turn 2, but everybody's sitting on turn 2 now, ready to start the race. It looks like everybody has set a representative qualifying time, but GMAC still to set a time. He's in that, what car is he? I forgot what car GMAC's in. Oh, he's in the BMW. He's in the BMW M4. What time's he putting in here? That is a very, very good time. A 1:41.5 in that BMW. It just goes to show how different cars perform differently at different tracks. And there we go. That is your one-shot qualifying over. We've got 30 minutes of balls out racing. Just waiting for that race to start. Don't know why people are going back out. There's absolutely no benefit to it. Everyone has now set a time. Race should be starting imminently. And apologise if my voice is going. And a lot less carnage on turn 2 than we had at Brands Hatch, where everyone was spinning and whipping around all over the place. So yeah, this is a much more serene and comfortable environment. But we've got PM10. Well, it says PM10's on pole, 140.9. Very difficult to tell though, because they all they jumped into the pits rather than just stopping, so I could see the actual lap times. The kind of point of people just stopping at turn 2, so I could see what the lap times were. But PM10 clearly on pole with a 1:40.9 in that McLaren. So clearly the going into holiday mode has not dulled his senses. Laps have been set by everybody. I don't know why Kevin's doing another lap. He's already put his lap in. He shouldn't be doing a second qualifying lap. I think we're ready to go. Stormfly, has he set a lap? Has he not set a lap? I think he has set a lap. So we've got 9 runners in total. A lot less than I expected to see. So we should be starting now. Wondering what the hold up is at this stage. I can't see any reason for not starting the race. I don't know why Kevin's still on a hot lap, because he's already set a lap, but I don't know. I'm assuming there's some sort of problem. Is there a problem with the room? Yes, there is. So everyone needs to red cross out and tick back in again. So I'm doing that as well, just to make sure there's no problems. I've got some real problems. I really hope there's an update coming on Friday, and I really hope in that update there's even one of these little problems with the lobbies fixed, because at the moment it's just proving to be an absolute pain in the fucking arse. And I genuinely, I don't know what the answer is, guys. I really don't. I don't know what the answer is. If I was a smarter man, maybe I could come up with a solution. But there just isn't one for me. And this is what happens. We end up with a bit of carnage while waiting for race to start, because we're having lobby problems. Now I would host it myself and get things running, but the problem is that half the people can't join the room when I'm hosting, because PS5's hosting tends to have issues in itself. And this leaves me in a position where I basically waffle about nothing because we can't get a fucking race started. So more people have joined the room now. We now have 12 checked in. At this stage, the qualifying started now. We had one lap qualifying 15 minutes ago, and we can't get the fucking race started. Now, is that because there is another server issue, or is that just because we're not firm enough for people coming into the room and saying, look, we're going to start the fucking race at this time? and rock up. Yeah, now obviously it's difficult for me being here and streaming to answer that question. But I don't understand why we have these massive delays. You know, we see lots of tournaments going on where you do qualify, then you get on the track, and then you can start the race. But it just seems that lately we can't do that. Right, so everyone's red crossed out. Everyone's joined in. We're waiting for who? Right, so everyone leaving the room. I'm ticking in. I'm ticking out. I don't want to be caught on that racetrack. Is there anyone out there in viewing land that watches this and has the answer? Please let us fucking know what's going on. How do we solve this problem? How do we do it? What are we doing wrong that's not letting these fucking lobbies start properly? Because it's getting beyond the fucking joke for me. And I'm beginning to wonder why we bother with GT7. I'm actually questioning why we spent our money on the game and what we're fucking bothering with. Well, I don't understand it. I'm really tempted just to fucking go balls out, buy the game on PC, and switch over to something like iRacing, where you know, not just iRacing, but iRacing, the F1 games, Assetto Corsa. You don't have these fucking problems on those games because they recognise that league racing is an integral part of what they do. I think we've got a problem with PM10. Oh, there we go. Has he finally? There we go. I think he's finally red crossed out. That's the problem with he said he needed communication. Well, the easiest way to do that is to have this stream as a sort of backup on the side, rather than his own. No offense, Paul, because I think you not red crossing in was the problem, maybe. Right, so 12 people ticked in. Can 12 people race now? That is the question. I've got to be honest, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these fucking ridiculous server issues. It's really getting me down. People, and this is the other problem, is we're having problems with the server and people are fucking off out onto the track. Right, here we go. We finally got this fucking race underway. Here we go. Three lights, four lights, five lights. GMAC on board with him at the moment, and we're away. Craig with a great start in the GTI. GMAC a little bit bogged down. We know we're going to have to exit. We know we're going to have to jump back in order to get this view. PM10 does take the lead of the race from pole position, and he's away. GMAC fights back. Kevin already working through the order, up into second place already. GMAC in third, cannot stop the charge of Kevin. Craig drops down to fourth place. Stormfly back in fifth, current championship leader. Avalon in that Alpha 155 in sixth place. There is TJ in the Renault Megane in seventh. Phil in eighth place in the Jaguar. Yellow Sausages in the Mitsubishi Lancer. Great car that. Just ahead of Cool Runnings in 10th. Cool Runnings in the phenomenal. Where has he gone? There he is. In the phenomenal Corvette. Yellow Sausages in 10th. Nick John Baker in 11th place, running that WRX, and he's challenging Yellow Sausages. Makes that move. He's got the inside line. Can he do it under braking? He can't. Yellow Sausages maintains 10th place. Wiggy in 12th in the Atenza. Did not have a good qualifying. Now really fighting that to get that car through the field. Aussie Rooster, despite having a very strong car and a very strong setup, finds himself in 13th place at the moment. So 13 runners out. The yellow flag. Who's the yellow flag for? Somebody has had a crash. Kevin already into the lead. Stormfly got himself up into second. PM10 in third place, trying to follow him up the road. But they're already starting to pull away. Kevin getting a really, really good exit out of that last turn in that Porsche Cayman. Avalon in the 155, doing the job that car was designed to do, which is a challenge for podium places. He is in 4th place at the moment. TJ in that Renault Megane, just holding off the charge of GMAC. GMAC in the BMW, started on the first row in that M4, but now under pressure from Cool Runnings in the C7. A big wobble from GMAC there, and struggling at the moment to put any pressure on TJ. So who's got what tyres on? Kevin running the softs, Stormfly on the mediums. That's a very strong position to be in on those medium tyres. Mediums also for PM10 in that McLaren. Avalon on the mediums also in the Alpha 155. They're all in a very, very strong position, particularly as they're sticking with the leader Kevin at the moment on the soft tyres. GMAC also on the medium tyres in that BMW in 6th place. Cool Runnings, everybody opting for the medium tyres. Yellow Sausages opting for the hards in that Lancer. Now I think that's actually going to play into his hands later on, because he's going to go much, much longer than anybody else out in front. Nick John Baker on the mediums of the WRX. Two cars, Lancer WRX, very similar cars, but Nick John Baker's struggling to keep up with him. Aussie Rooster in that Huracan. Running the medium tyres as well. Little bit of damage to that rear suspension. Ahead of Phil in 11th in that F-Type. Phil not getting that F-Type dialed in. Wiggy, Craig with some big damage there. Clearly had a coming together with the chicane of death. And Wiggy also had a coming together somewhere, and they're both struggling at the moment, waiting for their cars to correct themselves. Nick John Baker in the pits already, very, very early to be going in for me lap 2. That's going to cost him a lot of time, and he is already going to be at, well, not quite at the back of the pack, but not far off it. But with a 3-second penalty, that is all over for him. So Wiggy goes through, and I think we'll see Craig go through as well while we wait for Nick to get up to speed. So Nick in last place and with a 3-second penalty, really going to cost him. Back out front, we're looking at Kevin not pulling away like he'd like to on those soft tyres. Already taking a lot out of them. I think we're looking at a pit window opening up around lap 7. We are 4 minutes into this first 30-minute race. Good evening, Jason. Just seen you logging in, buddy. How you doing? Hope work is not challenging you too much this evening. But there's Kevin, just under a second ahead of Stormfly. Stormfly in that Genesis, running the medium tyres. But actually, if you look at the soft tyres of Kevin and you look at the medium tyres of Stormfly, there's not much difference in the wear, particularly on the fronts. The rears on the Genesis certainly holding out much better, but the front tyres not faring quite so well. Avalon Shadow in that 155, much better job on those tyres, particularly that 155 is very good and looking after the tyres. He might be 2.6 seconds back in 3rd place at the moment, but he's in the Alpha, and we know that Alpha is always going to be challenging for a podium in the right hands. GMAC in that BMW, certainly a much better performance in the BMW than we saw last time out of Brands Hatch. Was complaining about the state of the car, but can't be complaining too much. Cool Runnings jumps in very last minute. Yeah, absolutely, Jason. Isn't that the fucking truth? Cool Runnings jumps in last minute. Good to have him back with us. We've missed having him racing with us. He jumps straight into that Corvette. Hasn't had much time to practice, much time to get used to the car. Already up to 5th place, 1.2 seconds back from GMAC. But he has TJ crawling all over the back of him in that Megane. TJ looking up the inside, loses the back end. Lots of smoke coming. Is he going to lose the car? No, he does hold on to it. But Yellow Sausages goes through while TJ loses the back end of that car. Really get a lot out of that Lancer as Yellow Sausages as he chases Cool Runnings down to the big right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Aussie Rooster starting now to dial in that Lamborghini up into 8th place. Has been fiddling. Feeling a bit better, Jason, actually, to be fair. Still not 100%, but I am feeling a little bit better. But yes, so Aussie is dialing in that Lamborghini now. We know he's been fiddling around with settings. We know that he's looking for the perfect balance on this car, and he seems to have started to dial it in. Very, very good performance from him at Brands Hatch. Finished in the top 3 in a couple of those races. But there we go, we'll see how he gets on today. Phil up to 9th place in that F-Type. Has he started to get something out of the car? There's Craig in 10th in the GTR. Not sure this is the right car for the GTR. Bear with me, someone's ringing my doorbell. Sorry guys. That's the cost. Yeah, but your bedtime. Apologies for that, guys. Amazon parcel turns up at stupid hungry. I wasn't expecting that in the slightest. Anyway, where are we? What have we missed? So, Craig coming out of the pits. Kevin 77 still in the lead, 2.7 seconds clear. Not much left on those tyres. Stormfly, as much as he's kept those rears, those front tyres struggling. Avalon Shadow bearing down on the back of him, and I will not be surprised if there's a big overtake coming up right now from Avalon in that 155. The gap back from the top 3, and there we go. There is the overtake from Avalon up into 2nd place, and he is off up the road after Kevin. Well, he's not, because Kevin's in the pits. So Stormfly and Kevin both go in, one on hards, one on softs, one on mediums, and Avalon Shadow on those medium tyres, getting a great run on those tyres in the Alpha 155. That promotes G-Mac into 2nd. He's 12.4 seconds behind in that BMW. He will be pitting for me at the end of this lap. TJ on those mediums in the Renault Megane, under pressure from Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages makes that overtake in the Lancer. He's got much better tyres, can go a little bit longer up into the podium places. TJ trying to come back at him. Yellow Sausages having none of it. He shuts the door and they continue up the road. Aussie Rooster now up into 5th place in that Huracan. So he's gone for going longer on those mediums. So clearly, whatever's going on with that Genesis on those tyres for Stormfly hasn't worked. He couldn't make those mediums last any longer than the softs. Finds himself back in 8th place. Kevin comes back out in 6th. He does have that dreaded pit lane penalty of 3 seconds. He's 8 seconds back from Aussie. Those 3 seconds are going to put him firmly into the clutches of Phil in the F-Type. Phil will be pitting for me end of this lap. We are 1/3 in to race number 1 of 3 30-minute races. The first 2 are fastest first grid races. The last race will be rolling start, slowest first. That's where things get mixed up. Avalon Shadow, for me, went in very early, but the fuel dictated he had to go in. But he's gone in 16 seconds clear. G-Mac following him in. Yellow Sausages, last minute decision to go in. Is that going to cost him a penalty? So Aussie Rooster does very well with the fuel saving. Very well with the tyres. Look at him going forward into 1st place. That is going to be a very big lead in that Lamborghini Huracan. Working very well. 11.2 seconds. He is ahead of Kevin at the moment. Kevin in that Porsche Cayman. Medium tyres on the car now. Ran his first stint on the softs. Aussie still yet to pit. So is Kevin going for a 2-stop race here? And Aussie looks to me like he might be pushing for a 1-stop. If he goes in the next couple of laps and puts on those hard tyres, Aussie could be running to the end of this race, and that is going to really mix things up. Avalon Shadow back out on the medium tyres in third place, ahead of Stormfly. Stormfly running the hard tyres on that Genesis, which seems to be very, very heavy on the front tyre wear. Has the setup not giving him the kind of tyre wear that he needs to keep this Genesis at the front of the pack? And I've got to say, if this is the sort of race we need to mix things up at the top of the leaderboard, then I love it and I want more of it. So Aussie Rooster, the surprise package. Couple of podiums for him in race number 1. Currently leading the race. Will he come in at the end of lap 7? For me, he's got enough to go another lap. Does he trust his tyres? It looks like he does. Nope, he doesn't trust his tyres. In Aussie comes for his first pit stop on lap number 7. Kevin will come through and retake the lead of this race. So Avalon Shadow will come through. Avalon will be in second. Stormfly 1.1 seconds behind him. This is a battle raging right now between the Alpha and the Genesis, and the Alpha is winning, and he's pulling away from Stormfly in a way you would not expect. TJ in that Renault Megane, 5th place at the moment. He comes through as well. G-Mac in the BMW follows him through. He's in that slipstream looking to close the gap. Aussie Rooster, where's he coming out? Aussie Rooster comes out in 6th, just behind G-Mac. Or does he? No. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer gets through into 6th place. Aussie Rooster has to settle for 7th, and he's got that 3-second penalty for crossing the pit line. You know we want to see that. Wiggy in the Atenza. He is currently running 8th place on those hard tyres. He's going very, very long. It's not really working out for him so far, but we know this Atenza's a strong car. It's just not one that seems to appeal so much to Wiggy. PM10 in that McLaren. He was an early front runner, but we haven't seen much of him at the front of the pack. But he's running those medium tyres now. He's going to go a long way. Can he start closing the gap on these front runners? Phil in the Jaguar, still running around 10th place. He's on the medium tyres now. He's got a few laps to go before we're going to see him anywhere near the pits. I think we're probably going to see him running for another 10 minutes or so before he pits again. Craig in the GTR. This is not a car suited to the GTR as much as some of the faster tracks are. But Craig running at the moment in 11th place, 9 seconds. A bit of no man's land for him actually, because he's not really making much inroads on Phil ahead. And Nick J. Baker on 12th place at the minute in that WRX. Again, someone else in no man's land, 9.8 seconds back from Craig. He's running the hard tyres. But the fuel is not going to last as long as those tyres seem to on that car. Cool runnings on the hards in that Corvette. He's got a long way to go yet. Currently at the back of the pack. But you forgive him that, bearing in mind that it's been a while since Cool Runnings has been racing with us. It takes a while to get back into the rhythm. But welcome back with us, buddy. So 4.3 seconds is the lead out front from Kevin 77. From Avalon Shadow, he's on the medium tyres, just over half a tank of fuel on board at the moment. Avalon Shadow, much better on tyres, similar on fuel, but we know that Avalon is a fuel saving demon. This guy hates BP. He does not want to spend money on fuel, and he will save it everywhere he can. 3.9 seconds is the gap, and that is nothing when it comes to fuel saving through that chicane safely. Stormfly, there he is in 3rd, cannot close the gap. Not only can he not close the gap to Avalon, he's dropping every corner, every turn, every straight. He's dropping time in that Genesis to Avalon Shadow in the Alpha 155. It's not giving him the performance that he expects. TJ up into 4th. Remember this brilliant racing series is his brainchild. And so being up in 4th place demonstrates why he wanted to do this race. He wanted the opportunity of racing a car that nobody else had, and he's getting the most at the moment out of that Renault Megane. But G-Mac's got something to say about it, and what G-Mac has to say is, I'm in a BMW and you are not fucking beating me in a French car. I'm in a German car, and German beats French all day long. But we'll see what happens on the racetrack. Aussie Rooster back up to 6th place. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer behind him. It's Japan versus Italy. It's supercar versus rally car. Who has got the mettle to take the gold here at, I forgot the name of the track, in Croatia. Croatia and Dragon Trail. Wiggy still not getting what he wants out of that Tenza. In 8th place, he's got PM10 right behind him. Is there a move on from PM10 here? He makes the move on Wiggy. Goes very deep. Wiggy disappears off. PM10 has to try and get back on the track. Now he's got a lot of work to do now to regain that place. Just goes a little bit too deep. A little too late on the brakes. And Wiggy takes the Atenza through. Stays in 8th place. Phil in the F-Type Jag. He's 9.8 seconds back. He's got Craig bearing down on him in that GTR. Here he is in that lovely purple GTR, just trying to close the gap on Phil in the F-Type Jag. Nick John Baker in the WRX in 12th place at the moment, 29 seconds. He is ahead of Cool Runnings. Has Cool Runnings had a bit of a problem, or is he just not getting the performance out of the car that we'd expect? So his best lap time is nearly 4 seconds, or certainly 3.5 seconds slower than Avalon Shadow, the fastest man on the track at the moment. And he's under pressure now from Kevin77 looking to lap him. There he goes. Kevin is through. We're going to watch Avalon, who's closed that gap to 1.9 seconds. He's looking to get through as quickly as possible. There he goes in the Alpha. He is through. He is hunting. He is hunting Kevin. Does not want him to get away in that Porsche Cayman. We know how Avalon loves a Porsche, and he loves it so much he's going to catch one in an Alpha. So we've got German engineering of the Porsche. We've got the beauty, the Italian beauty of the Alfa Romeo 155. And they are 13.6 seconds clear of Stormfly, the current championship leader, in 3rd place. Not getting the performance out of this Genesis here that he would like to have got, and that sees him really dropping off the pace. So in terms of pits, what are we looking? Well, Kevin will be pitting somewhere for me around lap 14, lap 15 maybe. Can Avalon hold out to lap 15, lap 16? His rear tyres looking in a much better condition. Front tyres not so much, but fuel wise, I think Avalon may have to pit sooner, just purely because he's burning that fuel. But he is closing every single corner. And Stormfly into the pits again. That's going to put TG up into the top 3. That's going to promote G-Mac. It's also going to promote Aussie Rooster as we go on board with Avalon Shadow as he hunts down 1st place here in the Alpha 155. He knows he's going to have to pit first. He knows he wants to get track position before he does that. And Stormfly comes out at the moment. He's dropping down that order behind Yellow Sausages into 7th place, into 8th place. Way off the front of this pack. Now there are 3 races in every single race meeting here, and every point counts. At the moment, Avalon chasing, trying to make up for his performance in Brands Hatch, and chasing down Kevin, and just needs a gap. Kevin knows he's there. He's going to put his car in every defensive position possible. Avalon just drops off a little bit, going through that chicane of death. He doesn't want the car in front to wash him into a wall. Is he going to drop into the pits now? It looks to me like he probably will. Kevin pulling out a little bit of a gap. He's doing a very good race management strategy here, knowing that the car behind him is much stronger. And Avalon pulls into the pits on lap 12. There are less than 10 minutes left of this 30-minute race. We are on lap 12. This will be an 18-lap run for the championship. So we move on. Kevin in the lead, opening up that gap. Now Avalon has pulled into the pits. Loving the livery on that car. Very advertising, shall we say. So Avalon's still in second. TJ up into third place. Aussie Rooster makes a move. As we see, Cool Runnings, TJ, and that's GMAC pulling into the pits. So Aussie Rooster back into the top three, or is he? He's not, because Avalon comes out in second. He's going to run to the end. Well, he briefly was in second, but he's running to the end. Aussie Rooster will have to stop again. So Avalon in a very, very strong position. 38 seconds is the gap to the leader at the moment from Aussie Rooster. Avalon Shadow, 38.5. Is he going to make the move on Aussie soon? I imagine he will, but Aussie in a very strong position at the moment in second. TJ in that Renault Megane. He will run to the end of this race if he's clever with the fuel. Sliding the back end is not going to look after your tyres though. Stormfly in that Genesis, running to the end. In fifth place at the moment. He's got 3.5 seconds to catch the Renault of TG just up ahead. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer. Again, another one running to the end. He's on the hard tyres. He's got 10.8 seconds to make up on Stormfly. He is barely ahead of GMAC at the moment. GMAC making very, very good counting himself in that BMW. He's on the medium tyres. He's got a lot of fuel on board, looking to make a move on that Mitsubishi Lancer, and we go on board with GMAC as he looks for an opening. He doesn't have one there. Yellow Sausages closing the door. GMAC again getting in that slipstream, letting Yellow Sausages pull him down the road. Doesn't want to get washed out and pushed over onto the gravel. Is there an opportunity here? Under braking into this big right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Yellow Sausages already breaking. Oh, very, very close there. It looked to me like GMAC was going to catch him in the arse. Did not. So here we go into the very tricky chicane of death. Yellow Sausages just ahead of GMAC. Both of them through. They're through clean. So GMAC gets a good run in that BMW. He's in the slipstream of the Lancer. Can he make a move into the final corner? Or will he just pick up the slipstream and make a move before turn one? He's sticking very, very close to the back. Seemed to be very quick on the power. Just couldn't get it away. But he is very close there. 2/10 of a second. And the Lancer not really able to pull away as quickly as the Yellow Sausages would like. Is there an opportunity for GMAC to make a move here? There's not. Turn one goes a by. He can't make the move. Turn two, is there a move? He's up the inside, under braking, gets it turned in, up into sixth place, makes the move stick, or does he? He doesn't. Yellow Sausages plays the long game, stays ahead in sixth place. This battle is raging on into lap 14 of this 18-lap race. One of three. Again, Yellow Sausages holding that inside line. GMAC tries the outside line with the little undercut. Doesn't work. Yellow Sausages opening up the gap again. We've got an entire lap now and GMAC cannot close. Cannot get the job done. As we said, it's always one thing to catch. It's another to pass. And here we go. Here is PM10 now. PM10 closing up the gap. 7/10 on GMAC. GMAC not being able to pass is bringing PM10 into this race in that McLaren. Is PM10 able to make a move on either of these two? He's going to watch what goes on ahead. Ideal for him is there is a little crash going into the chicane at the chicane of death, which is coming up here right now. And we see Yellow Sausages through in the Lancer. We see GMAC through in the BMW. Wobble there. Wobble from the Lancer. Wobble from the McLaren. GMAC is through. The wobble from the McLaren. Not quite as bad as the wobble from the Lancer. And PM10 up into 7th. GMAC up into 6th. And now he can make the charge up towards Stormfly in 5th place. Wiggy back in 9th in that Atenza. It looks to me like he's going to take this car. Well, no, I think he will take this car to the end. We know he can fuel save. We know he can tyre save. Currently sitting in 9th place. Did that little smash for Yellow Sausages put him into the clutches of Wiggy. He's just put in his best lap of the race with a 1:43.1. That is still 3 seconds. 3 seconds off the pace of Avalon in that Alpha 155. Craig in the GTR, 12 seconds back in 10th place, running to the end with a big gap back to Phil in the Jaguar F-Type. And I've got to say, I do love the livery on that car. Very good looking shit. It's very strong. Nick in the pits again. Mr. Cool Runnings, is he close enough to make a move? Hasn't been able to dial in over the course of this race as much as we would have thought, but that is more going to be about rustiness than anything else. But Nick's still in the pits in the WRX. He's just coming out now. Where is Cool Runnings? Is this going to be a drag race to the end? Cool Runnings on the mediums. He is behind him. Nick John Baker, he's on the soft tyres, but he is 3 seconds back. 3 second penalty, which is not going to be enough. Saying that, so Cool Runnings a lap behind. It looks to me like Cool Runnings might actually be a lap behind. He is. He's 3 minutes behind the leader. So actually, whatever he does here is really going to make a difference, I think. So, back with the leader, Kevin 77, 11.3 seconds. He's done his pit stop. He's running to the end on those soft tyres. Avalon just, he had the pace initially to close on him. But now it doesn't seem to have the gap to close, but very comfortably ahead of TJ in third. And this is going to be a solid podium for TJ if he can hold this position in the McGann. He's 5.3 seconds clear of Aussie at the moment, but Aussie looking very racy in that Lamborghini, and we know that Lamborghini's got podiums in it. It's only 5.2 seconds, and the gap is closing, and it's closing quickly. We are on lap 16 of what will be an 18 lap 30-minute race. Kevin 77 clearly in the lead in the Porsche Cayman as he starts the penultimate lap. Or is there penultimate? It might not even be. This might be the last lap of the race. I think, looking at the time left, I think we're just in the realms of 18 laps. Avalon Shadow also just in the realms of 18 laps. TJ, he's definitely going to be on his last lap as he starts lap 17. Kevin and Avalon are going to be going 18 laps. TJ is the best of the rest at the moment. He is 4 seconds clear of Aussie Rooster. He's on medium tyres, just starts lap 17. Here comes Aussie, starting lap 17, closing that gap in the Lamborghini Huracan. Look at the Rooster-inspired Top Gun livery. Stormfly in the Genesis. Can he close the gap on that Lamborghini? 2.9 seconds. But we say that, and then straight away, the gap opens up. So he's not getting the performance out of that car this time out. G-Mac in a BMW, comfortably at the moment in 6th place. He's not going to catch Stormfly, but it doesn't look like he's going to be caught by Yellow Sausages either. So that little wobble from Yellow Sausages and the wobble from PM10 has given G-Mac a nice clear run at 6th place here. Yellow Sausages in that Lancer, 7th place, 12 seconds back from the BMW G-Mac. 5 seconds up from Wiggy. Can Wiggy get that Tenza told in? Can he close the gap? I mean, he has already taken a second out of Yellow Sausages on this last lap of the race. Is there a chance still for him? As the Avalon Shadow doesn't quite make the 18th lap, but does finish comfortably in 2nd place. So 2 second penalty from PM10. He's not going to close up on Wiggy. Does that put him into the clutches of Craig in the GTR? Craig in the GTR closing. Nick John Baker finishes the race in 12th. That will leave Cool Runnings finishing in 13th in that Corvette. We're coming into the final sector. Craig closing the gap on PM10. PM10 with a 2 second penalty to serve. This is going to be a close run. I think he can't close on Wiggy. TJ finishes in the top 3. Good solid performance in that Renault Megane. But here comes Craig. We go on board and we just see how does he close this gap. Can he close this gap on PM10? PM10 serves his penalty. Is he able to close? He's closing into the final turn. PM10 goes very, very defensive. Does not want Craig coming up the inside of him. Can he hold off? It looks like PM10 just holds off for 9th place with Craig behind him in that GTR in 10th. Here comes Phil into the final turn. So we are Kevin 77 just finishing up the race. Avalon Shadow in 2nd. TJ in 3rd. Aussie Rooster can't make the top 3. Finishes in 4th. Stormfly 5th. GMAC in a BMW in 6th place. Yellow Sausages finishes in that Lancer in 7th position. Wiggy in the Atenza in 8th. PM10 in that McLaren in 9th place. Just holds off Craig in 10th in the GTR. So there we go. Race number 1 all over. Race number 2 to come. Again, 1 shot qualifying. Stop at turn 2. Get that shit done. Already we're looking at very, very different lineup to that we had in week number 1 and the first 3 races. This is what I love about this format. Anybody can finish in the top 3. And what a contrast difference. Kevin's still dominating, but he hasn't got it all his own way. He's got extra company now. Avalon Shadow in 2nd. Great performance from everybody out there. So we move on. Very, very quick P-break, foul break before we do another one-shot qualifying and then into race number 2, which again is fastest first grid. We will see you very, very shortly. And we are back. Race number 2 coming out. Out lap, 1 fast lap. That's all we need. What have we got? What has everyone got to offer? Has anyone got more in the tank than they've shown us already? Stormfly not finishing as high up as we'd expect, and he's the current championship leader, but this is going to make a massive change to the table, and that's what I love about this format of racing. Very, very different, mixing it up for everybody, and it does really give everyone something to aim for in every race. G-Mac qualified very, very well in that BMW, but his race pace just didn't match up. But I think that's the beauty of one-shot qualifying, is that if you can dial in a really good lap, it can put you in really good stead. However, if you have a really bad qualifying, but have a good race pace, you can make it up through that race. Now, I'll tell you what, there's a few surprises for me. I'm not surprised at all by Avalon in the Alpha 155. It's a phenomenal car, and I can guarantee you half of this grid would swap their car for that Alpha in a heartbeat. It's a great car. Stormfly surprises me. I mean, the Genesis, it's a mid-range GR4 car, but I thought Stormfly would give us a bit more this evening, but good to see that he can be challenged. G-Mac in the BMW, he's a very quick guy. BMW not giving him what he wants, but if we look at the course of races, we look at what we got coming up, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for G-Mac to dial that car in at some stage. TJ, great performance from him. Really, really good in that Renault Megane. And again, the Renault Megane is a very mid-range car, but if you can get it dialed in, you can get a good lap out of it. Craig in the GTR. This track is not suited to the GTR, but even still, mid-range performance from the GTR. Keep getting the points, keep putting them on the board. It's going to keep you in this competition. Surprise for me is Wiggy. That Tenza is a very, very strong car, and I'm surprised that Wiggy can't get it quite dialed in just yet. But I have no doubt in my mind that at some stage he will find the sweet spot with that Tenza and start racking up the points on the board. Cool Runnings, we know he's rusty. He's been moving. He's got other stuff going on. He's jumped into that C7 and he's given a relatively good performance. And we can only see him getting better and better as the race weeks go on. Kevin77, not a surprise. We know the guy's quick, and the more he plays GT7, the more he gets an affinity for how the physics work. And he's doing a very good, very solid job at the moment in that Cayman. And at the moment finds himself, I think by the end of this, at the top of the leaderboard. Aussie Rooster, he for me is the big surprise package. We've always known Aussie as a sort of top-end midfield racer, but he is really challenging the top 3 in this tournament. And I think when we come to week 10, if Aussie is not there or thereabouts in that Huracan, I'll be very surprised. PM10, clearly the rust, the holiday rust is setting in. Found himself a bit further back than we expect. Now, that McLaren's a very strong car. So it's all about just getting his head back in the game. We know he's in holiday mode. Didn't expect to see him with us today. He is off on holiday. Will miss next week. But I've no doubt that he'll come back and jump into this without a question. So they're all setting their laps. At the moment, Kevin on pole. PM10 with the second fastest lap. Craig, third in the GTR. Yellow Sausages, here he comes. He's done a 1:42.1. Good, solid fourth place. PM10 second, Craig third, Yellow Sausages fourth. Wiggy in the Atenza, 1:43.4, fifth fastest. G-Mac is on his outlap, running his lap at the... Oh, this is on his outlap. I'm assuming he's finished because he's parked up. Aussie Rooster, 1:43.5, not as quick as we expect. Cool Runnings, ninth fastest. Phil in that Jaguar. He is 146.4. Not a great lap for him, as TJ comes absolutely melting in and puts several cars into the mechanics. Nick John Baker in the WRX. He is on his hot lap right now. What has he got? Can he get himself off the away from 12th on the grid? Stormfly hasn't set a lap yet. Is he looking to start from the rear of the pack and give himself some running going through? Because surely we're starting very, very soon. Excuse me. So, remember, this is the second of 3 races. Race number 1, fastest first grid. Race number 2, fastest first grid. Race number 3, everything gets mixed up and we go rolling start, slowest first. And that is where we separate the men from the boys. Can the faster guys make their way quickly through the field, or do they get held up? So here we go. Race number 3 starts, and unfortunately for Phil, he's at the back of the grid. Where is Stormfly? Stormfly qualifies in 3rd. Kevin 77 on pole. Avalon Shadow in 2nd yet again. And we are waiting for the lights. 1 light, 2, 3, 4 and 5 lights. And we are away. Kevin pulls away very well. 155. We know it's very quick off the line. He cuts across to try and cut him off. But Avalon takes the lead of this race. Already leading. And this is a devastating blow for Kevin in that Porsche Cayman. And let's jump out very quickly so we can get the view that we really want to see, which is this wide angle lens. Avalon Shadow already starting to pull away in the Alpha 155. He's running the medium tyres, which for me is the best starting option. Kevin again opting for the softs. He takes the lead of the race on the softs, but only just. Avalon on the mediums looking for a way through. Kevin just touches the grass, keeps the car steady. Stormfly in the Genesis in 3rd. PM10 up into 4th. He's got Yellow Sausages bearing down on him in that Mitsubishi Lancer. Can he make a move? As we see, who's that dropping through the order? That looked to me to be Stormfly. Craig is facing the wrong way. Was he collected there by somebody? He's way, way down the order. He's got engine damage. He's going to have to wait for that to right itself. Cool Runnings in 12th. Nick with engine damage. Nick, no engine damage, but can he make a move before those cars repair? Stormfly down into 6th. Did he have a problem which sent him down the order, or were the cars behind him just that little bit quicker? So TJ up into 5th place. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer in 4th. He is 7, 8, 9 tenths ahead. Great exit from that final turn. Closing the gap on PM10 in, well, I say closing, he's not closing at all, because PM10 is still opening out that gap. So Kevin, half a second clear of Avalon in the 155. PM10 in the McLaren, 1.3 seconds back from this battle for first place. Yellow Sausages, 2.6 seconds off the top 3, looking to try and get a podium place. Any place Yellow Sausages gets over anyone else on this racetrack, racing with 1 leg. Bearing in mind that he's got 1 broken leg, he's doing everything with 1 foot. If he beats you, you need to reevaluate your shit. Sorry guys. Stormfly currently in 5th, 1.4 seconds back. He's got TJ just behind him in that Megane. Stormfly on the mediums, TJ on the mediums, G-Mac in the BMW on the medium tyres, sticking with that battle, pulling away slightly from Aussie in that Huracan. But we know Aussie's very quick. We know Aussie is also very consistent. We are on lap 2 of 17 stroke 18 laps. I think it depends on the pace up front. I certainly think that the front runners will get 18 laps if they push hard enough. Wiggy again in that Tenza, not getting the performance, 5.1 seconds back from Aussie in that. Oh, and he clips the wall in the chicane of death. Massive damage. That gap to Nick John Baker is going to close fast. The fact it's 13 seconds is just enough to save Wiggy, but Wiggy is not going to close on Aussie after smashing that Atenza into the wall. Nick John Baker in the WRX, he's 1.3 clear at the moment of Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings has got some company though. He's got company from the GTR of Craig. Craig looking to make a move. And we're on board with Craig now. Craig takes it out of the last turn. He makes that move. He's up the inside and makes the move. Pull very far over to the right hand side, but makes the move stick. And he's pulling away and closing up on Nick J. Baker. There is Cool Runnings in 12th. Phil in the Jaguar, not having it all his own way now. He is closing on Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings struggling, really struggling at the moment to get that C7 dialed in. But he is, as we said, he's been away from the racing for a while. It takes a while to get back into the rhythm. And no doubt in my mind we'll see him in and amongst the midfield very, very soon. So out front, Kevin 77 on the soft tyres. Again, can't pull away from Avalon Shadow. We saw him in race number 1. He couldn't pull away from Stormfly. Stormfly on the medium tyres. This time, he's pulling away a little, but not significantly. Bearing in mind, he's got to pit much, much sooner than Avalon in that 155. And we see Avalon coming in to the final turn. What sort of exit can he get? Can he close the gap a little? Well, at the moment, it is closing, and it's closing well. PM10, though, sticking with this battle this time. The top 3 are 2.9 seconds clear. 5 seconds from the leader is Yellow Sausages in that Lancer, doing a good job at trying to challenge that top 3. That's what you want to see. You want to see the top 3 worried about the cars just outside the top 3. But at the moment, Yellow Sausage is the only one putting in any sort of challenge there, and he's keeping it to around a second to PM10 Racing. But PM10 Racing being dropped at the moment by Avalon Shadow, who is sticking closely to Kevin. And bear in mind, Kevin's going to have to pit. Where is he now? So he's on those softs. What did he pit? That 6 last time out. I think he's going to pit similar time again. Again, it's about fuel. Avalon burning a lot more fuel than that Alpha, but the tyres are going to give him much more grip towards the end of his stint. Stormfly holding firm in 4th, but those medium tyres just do not give him the length of time he really needs in that Genesis. Soft tyres are not an option for him. You can see how quickly those medium tyres are going off on the Genesis. So the soft tyres, if he puts softs on there, he's pitting every 3 fucking laps. So at the moment, Stormfly's struggling. This is not the perfect track for him. TJ doing very well, just behind, 2.7 seconds. He's in 5th place at the moment. He's got Aussie Rooster 1.5 behind him, and he's opening up that gap in that Renault Megane. Now, who would have thought Renault Megane outperforming the amazing Huracan? So I'm losing my bloody voice. Gap closes again on the straights. The Huracan really closes up on that Megane. That's another beautiful thing about this very, very different tournament. As you see Yellow Sausages going into the pits, because the cars have very different performances. Some are better in corners, some are better on the straights, some better at high speed, some at low speed. You're really going to see this mixing up. Regardless, it's not even a word. Regardless of ability, it doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes you're relying on the performance of your car. Now, we know Kevin's quick and he's up there, but we know Stormfly's quick. But this track just does not suit the Genesis. Whether it's a setup, whether it's a track, not working for him today. TJ, you're getting more out of that Megane than you'd expect to see. Aussie Rooster, he's doing a very, very good job with that Lamborghini Huracan. GMAC, not quite getting enough out of the BMW yet, but performances are improving race upon race. Wiggy again, not finding an affinity with that Atenza, but it will come. This is only the meet number 2 of a 10 series competition. So there will be opportunity to fall in love with your car. Craig in that GTR, very solid midfield runner. Kevin into the pits, Avalon Shadow through, PM10 through, Stormfly, he will peel off into the pits. That will promote TJ, that will promote Aussie. So the top four very much changed. Avalon Shadow in the lead. He's going to hold out, for me, a little bit longer than PM10 will in that McLaren. So 2.5 seconds almost to PM10. TJ 10.6 seconds back, but he's got Aussie Rooster for company. Now we know TJ loves that Lamborghini. That will irk him, seeing the car that he loves just bearing down on the back of his Renault Megane. G-Mac through in 5th place, getting another lap out of that BMW. Kevin comes back out in 6th. He's on those medium tyres. It's a 2-stop race for the Cayman. Wiggy in the Atenza, 8.7 seconds back from Kevin. We know Kevin's going to go beyond everybody else ahead of him. What's the gap to the leader? Now it's 29 seconds from Kevin to Avalon. Can Avalon chuck in a couple of quick laps? Now we know he's been the fastest man on track. He's done a 40.4. He was the fastest man in race number 1. So can he be fast and consistent? Now he's done a 40.4. He's done a 40.7. He's got another lap in this Alpha before he has to go in. But he chooses to go in early. Now, that's, for me, that's because he knows when fuel saving, the pace drops off. So he goes in. PM10 in the McLaren goes in. What's TJ doing? TJ stays out. Loads of fuel on board. He's been fuel saving, as has Aussie, but not quite as much. So they go up into the lead and to 2nd place. Where is Kevin? Does Kevin come through? We see Kevin. It looks like he's coming through now into 3rd place. Does he stay ahead of Avalon? He is through into 3rd place. Avalon Shadow comes out into the pits. Comes out of the pits, in fact, in 4th place. So 4.6 seconds, 5 seconds even, behind Kevin 77. So Kevin puts in some blistering laps. We say blistering laps. They weren't that blistering. So actually Avalon was in the pits for what seemed to be like an age. But he does have more fuel on. He is running those medium tyres, and we know he can save. We know he can look after tyres. We know the Alpha's very good on the tyres. We know that the Cayman, a little bit more aggressive. PM10, 2.1 seconds back on those medium tyres in that McLaren. Stormfly in 6th place. He's running those hard tyres again, but he needs to, because the medium tyres just do not hold out on that Genesis. G-Mac into BMW, starting to find a very solid rhythm as being the Mr. Midfield. Now, over the course of a 10-race series, with 3 races in each meet, if you can consistently finish in that midfield when those around you are going to be up and down in terms of performance, you're going to find yourself there or thereabouts come the points tally at the end of the season. So actually, I don't think G-Mac needs to worry too much about that, because we know he can be quick, and there's going to be some tracks that will suit that BMW. So he will find some pace. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer, doing a very solid job. And again, in a 141.9 in that Lancer, racing with 1 foot, you've got to say, very solid performance from him. He is currently 4.5 seconds clear of Wiggy in that Atenza. Not dialed it in yet, but I've got to say, I've said it from day one, the Atenza is a much better car than the current results give it credit for. It may not suit his driving style, but he will find a way to make that car faster. Nick John Baker, very solid in the WRX, currently running in 10th. 19 seconds, though, clear of Craig in the GTR. This track really not suited to this GTR. Craig cannot get this car doled in at all. Cool runnings in the Corvette. You've got to bear in mind, he's had very little notice, wasn't involved in the selection process early doors, ended up with the last car that was left. Yeah, well, to be fair, there's a few tracks coming up, Jason, that will suit your AMG. I'm sure we've got Spa in this. Let me have a check. I'm sure we've got Spa, and the AMG is phenomenal around Spa. Absolutely brilliant in Spa. Let me find it. I can't find the thing now. Where is it? I've lost the list of tracks, but I think Spa's in it, and Spa is certainly a very good track for the AMG. Computer's going absolutely mental. What's going on? Anyway, where are we? So, Phil, at the moment, in that Jaguar. Now, it's weird because Aussie Rooster loves this Jaguar, and when you dial the Jag in, 10th of October, there we go. So we know Spa's going to be a good race for you, my friend, I think. And it's one of those races as well, Jason. You know, you can be very, very quick in a one lap. And the one lap qualifying, and I've got to say, you know what, I'm going to say this. I think out of everybody, I think the improvement you've made over the last couple of months has been absolutely phenomenal. You've gone from being a plumb last rider to a midfield challenger, and left Grizzly, who technically should be making a bigger impact than you, bearing in mind we were here first. You're leaving us in your wake, mate, and you should be proud of that. You do a really, really good job. And I've got no doubt that you will have a good performance in the AMG at Spa. Anyway, back to the current racing, and PM10 in the lead of this race. I didn't see how he took the lead, but he did, and he is 3.3 seconds clear in that McLaren. And if you want to see what the race looks like from his perspective, there we go. Or you could just join his stream. Sorry, man. Had to do it. Had to be done. He won't be here next week. He will be lying on a beach, wearing his Speedos, getting some sun on board. But currently 3.7 seconds clear of Kevin 77, who is under significant pressure from Avalon Shadow in the Alpha 155. Bad lap from Avalon, but also a bad lap from Kevin a couple of laps ago. But Avalon is showing very, very good pace, lap after lap in that Alpha. He is closing the gap on Kevin, and Kevin needs to start shitting himself, because the Alpha behind him is outperforming the Porsche Cayman. Can Kevin use his guile, use his wits, use his racetrack knowledge to keep the Alpha behind him? Or can Avalon use his German precision, his determination to take the Alpha into second place? The top three are 19 seconds clear of anybody else. Stormfly, the current championship leader, under pressure, not on the back of the top three, but from TJ in fifth place behind him in the Renault Megane. The Genesis not performing at all for him today. Aussie Rooster not far off the back of that battle, only 2.8 behind. But if TJ cannot make the move around Stormfly, now we know Stormfly is a wily old fox. He will make it. Stormfly hits the wall. Chicane of death takes Stormfly out of the running. And TJ is through. Aussie Rooster's through. Here comes G-Mac while Stormfly waits for the repairs on his car. Can Wiggy close up before that happens? I don't know if he's going to get close enough to take the place, but the gap is going to be a lot smaller. And Stormfly drops down that order. The Chicane of Death takes yet another victim. PM10 opening up the gap in that McLaren. It is 4 seconds now to Avalon Shadow. He will need to pit again. Avalon Shadow will also need to pit again we are going 17, maybe 18 laps. If we're looking at the pace out front, I think the front three are all going to do a lap 18 today. Kevin, now behind Avalon's shadow, has he got anything in the tank to take that out for 155? Now, the other question is, can he take this to the end of the race? He certainly looks like he might have enough fuel with some fuel saving, but I'm not entirely sure the tyres are going to hold out that well for him. Avalon definitely has to pit. There's not enough fuel on board, but I think Kevin may need to as well. Now, this is not going to put any of these top three in any danger of bar smashing into the chicane of death, of course, from TJ in fourth, who is doing an absolutely stellar job in that Renault Megane. Now, who would have thought that a big, massive bell end could drive a car quite so well? I'm sorry, man, I couldn't help it. He's under pressure from Aussie Rooster, though. Aussie Rooster in a Huracan, starting to dial it in the final stages of this race. We are just reaching the 2/3 point of race number 2. This will be the last race that starts from fastest first. Aussie Rooster in a Huracan has closed the gap to less than half a second and closing fast as we come to turn 1. Can TJ in that Renault Megane hold him off? He can't. Aussie Rooster just too quick in the Huracan, goes up into 4th place and makes that stick as well. He's starting to show some great pace, and it looks to me like he has enough tyre and has enough fuel to just make it to the end of this race. Same as the TJ definitely has. He's got a bit more fuel, he's got a bit more tyre, so this battle is not over. He doesn't have the straight line speed of the Huracan, but Aussie will have to let off with that pace at some stage if he wants to make it to the end of this race. G-Mac in the BMW, he's going to have to pit again. He's only 6 seconds clear off Stormfly. Stormfly also will pit again though, so having a torrid time in that Genesis, melted into the melted into the wall of the chicane of death. And that means, well, I was going to say Wiggy could catch him, but Wiggy also needs to stop again. So we're going to have a bit of a battle. G-Mac, Stormfly and Wiggy. There's a bit of a gap between them at the moment, but they're all going to pit. They're all going to go on soft tyres. They're all going to have a bit of a run towards the end. So top 3, all in the pits together. Avalon, PM10, Kevin 77. Where do they come back out? Who is bravest? Who will go that little bit less on fuel? Who has got the biggest balls? Aussie Rooster, here he comes. He might take this to the end. And if he can go into the lead now, him and TJ, very much looking like they can run to the end of this race. Aussie takes the lead. Kevin comes out in second, but TJ takes second place from him. But the guys behind the racing, Kevin is on the softs. PM10's gone for the medium tyres. Strange choice for me, but also has Avalon gone for medium tyres. Now, do they feel there's not quite enough grip in the softs to take them the 4-5 laps they need to finish this race? Now, for me, that's a very strange choice. If those tyres don't last out, then Kevin's made an absolute big fat cock up. But the fact that he's gone on those softs says to me those tyres will make it, and he is crawling all over the back of TJ like a rash on a very cheap whore. He wants that second place back, feels it belongs to him. Big hit from Kevin, takes out TJ. He's got to give that place back. Absolutely melts him into the wall, causing massive damage on the front of TJ's car. That is not good, solid, fair racing. Bit of an accident, to be fair. Don't think he meant it, but the position has got to be given back. That's not his to keep. But he currently runs in second place. That is definitely something for the stewards to look at, because there was no way that was lag. It looked to me like TJ broke earlier than he did, but when you're behind, you've got to contemplate that. You've got to understand that might happen. And PM10 coming through now on TJ. So TJ back into 4th place. The top 3 not quite restored because Aussie Rooster in that Hurricane still out in front. The gap is closing and closing fast. But what penalty will the stewards give to Kevin for that shunt on TJ? PM10 lost the place again. Back into 4th. TJ spins. Loses the back of his car. He's facing the wrong way. Absolutely lost it. Pushing a little bit too hard. He's far enough ahead of GMAC to not lose that. But he's way back now from the top 3 battle. Just a lapse of concentration. The pressure. He can't handle the pressure. Really got to him. And it's dropped him way down the order. Just needs to settle him back into the race now. Otherwise, one more of those, and GMAC in a BMW is going to be crawling all over the boot of that little French shitbag. Avalon Shadow in 4th at the moment, trying to catch on the back of PM10 Racing. Get back into this top 3. The battle for the top 3 is, it's going to be Aussie Rooster. Aussie Rooster's going to need to pit. He's pushed so hard to stay in first. He's going to peel off to the right-hand side now into the pits. There goes Kevin into the lead of this race. Although I don't think those points will stick for the penalty he will receive. PM10 in 2nd place. If it stays as it is, he will be promoted to the win of this race on a time penalty. Avalon Shadow in 3rd place. And he is crawling on the back of that McLaren. It is Alfa Romeo 155 versus the McLaren 650S. It is Italy versus the United Kingdom. Who is going to win out this battle? At the moment, it looks to me like Avalon has got the edge. He's closing. TJ's got himself back up into 4th place by virtue of Aussie in the pits, but 15 seconds off the front 3. A podium place is now off the table for TJ, but up until this stage was doing so well. Aussie 16 seconds clear of GMAC. He's going to bring that Lamborghini home in the top 5 for me. GMAC in the BMW. So I'm losing my voice. I need to have a drink. GMAC in the BMW, 7 seconds clear of Wiggy in the Atenza. Very similar cars for me in performance. Prefer the Atenza myself, but GMAC doing, as I said, he would start dialing in this BMW, and race after race is getting better and better. And if you look at the consistency, very consistent times. Fastest lap is on 1:42.6, which is 2.2 seconds off the quick time of Avalon. And I've got to say, Avalon chucking in times like that, well, we say that as Kevin puts in a 1:40.2. Big fucking message there. Big message that I'm the big dog, I'm the fastest man on the track, and you will respect my speed. Wiggy in 7th in the Atenza, 7.4 back from GMAC, 6 seconds ahead of Stormfly in that Genesis. Again, not dialing it in. Tyres not favourable to him. Track not very good to this car. 6 seconds back to Nick John Baker in the WRX. Solid 10th, 9th place, ahead of Craig. 10 seconds, in fact, ahead of Craig in the GTR. He has got 6.8 seconds on Yellow Sausage. As he clips the wall there, that 6.8 is going to go down. Well, it doesn't actually. Yellow Sausage is through the chicane of death in the Lancer. 34 seconds clear of Phil. He's got a whole pit stop to himself, and he is a 1 minute ahead of Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings finding it difficult to get himself back into the rhythm of racing, but we all know it only takes a race or two before you're back up to speed. So out front, what's the difference? Where's the yellow flag? Who has a problem? There's a yellow flag somewhere, but Kevin is 1.5 seconds. So Kevin had the problem. Avalon is making a move on PM10 up into, so he's got the inside line, makes the move into second, closing up on Kevin now. Can he make it count? Little bit hot, touches the grass. Where's PM10? PM10 back up into second place. These guys trading positions. It's Alpha versus McLaren, and the battle still rages, and they're closing on Kevin 77 as his tyres start to go off. Look at this battle rage. The top three so close. Little, was there a touch there? That was lag. As we see PM10 still just ahead of Avalon. Kevin pulling away a little bit. There was no touch there. That was purely a lag problem. Can PM10 close the gap? Avalon looking up the inside, makes the dive. PM10 holds very well round the outside. They are drag racing. This is lap 17. This might well be the last lap of the race. But there we go. We've got a back marker that could be holding Kevin up long enough to bring these two back into this race. The top three is not yet decided. And actually, I think all three of these are going to take this race to lap 18. We see Kevin going down up the inside. He makes that overtake. On cool runnings. PM10 has to guard the inside. Avalon again looking to make that move. They've got 30 seconds to make it to the finish line to bring this to a final lap shootout. Or is this the last lap of the race? And up the inside, Avalon Shadow makes an overtake in the chicane of death like an absolute massive cocked, huge bald warrior. That takes huge dangly brass balls of steel to make a move like that into the chicane of death, but he makes it, and he's 1.6 seconds clear. PM10 must be looking and thinking, you are an absolute legend. But there we go, lap 18. Race finishes at the end of lap 17. Kevin, 2.3 seconds from Avalon Shadow, who I've got to say has made probably the single greatest overtake I have ever seen in GT7 history. That took massive, huge, big brass balls to make that move. What a move for second place. Thoroughly deserved that. PM10 Racing, well-deserved third place. The top three, never in doubt. Those three absolutely raced to the final flag. Aussie Rooster home in fourth place. TJ home in fifth, 2.5 seconds back. GMAC 17 seconds back in a BMW and finishes 12 seconds ahead of Stormfly in that Genesis. He is only just ahead of Wiggy in that Atenza. Craig will come home in the GTR, just taking the last corner in ninth place in the GTR, 5 seconds clear of Nick John Baker. Phil and Cool Runnings finish on lap 17. Where is Yellow Sausages? 2 seconds back. Nick John Baker, did he run out of fuel? It looks to me like he did. Yellow Sausages makes it into 10th place on the line. Nick John Baker running out of fuel, just coming out of the final turn. And he trickles across the line in 11th place. Now, you can go back through every video on our YouTube and watch every overtake and watch every race, and I guarantee you won't see crazier shit than you have seen in the last few laps of that race. That was a phenomenal 1, 2, 3 last lap of any race we've shown. Anything from GT Fusion, anything from anybody. That 1, 2, 3 was absolutely phenomenal, and I challenge you to find a better live stream on our feed than that. And we've still got one more race to go. One more. We've got one more race to go. This time, it's all very, very different. This time, it is rolling start. This time, it is slowest first. So they're still going to go out. They're still going to do their hot lap. And we will be watching for you sandbaggers. If you sandbag, you will be considering a penalty. We already have one penalty to look at, which is when Kevin went into the back of TJ. I think it was. I'm sure it was TJ went into the back of. That's something that's got to be looked at, and that will be looked at by the stewards at some point, either this evening or tomorrow. A decision will be made on any penalty there. Now, bearing in mind that if a time penalty is issued, the gap was only 2.5 seconds at the end of that race. So, what I will say is, watch out, because everything changes in this league. It's been awesome, absolutely awesome. So, 5 minutes before we start qualifying, I am going to rest my voice for 5 minutes before I end up losing it. I would have some message from our sponsors, but I haven't actually finished doing the videos yet. Quick message to Stormfly: if you are watching this, can you send me a short video for an advert reel that I can stick in these little gaps? I've got one from TJ I'm going to put together. I'm going to steal a video off of his YouTube for this, but if you've got a little video to whack on, it would be awesome if you could send it to me, please. Thank you very much. Anyway, I will see you guys very, very shortly. Back in the room. Back in the room. So, we are a couple of minutes from the final qualifying of this session. And I've got to say, I might have to take back the bell end comment on TJ, because he came up with the format for this race, or for this series, in fact. And it's proving to be fucking brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. I question anybody that looks at the format of this race and says, that's not going to work. It is proving to be an absolute doozy of a competition. Everybody really stands a chance at winning some big, big points here. There's nothing more I can say, really, than just fucking wow. This has been one of my favourite things to stream, because there's always something going on. And it really is mixing up. I know Kevin's 1-2. He's going to get a penalty without question in race number 2, because there's no amount of lag that caused that crash. Absolutely none. But, well, everybody really has stood a chance of doing something here. But people have been setting laps. At the moment, what we got Stormfly on pole in the Genesis, so we know 1 lap pace in that Genesis isn't bad. His problem is tyres. Those racing soft tyres just do not hold up. The medium tyres do not hold up. The Genesis just ripping the living shit out of those front tyres. Kevin 77, for me, I mean, he's struggled with tyres as well, but he has showed very, very good, very solid racecraft, which has given him 2 wins. Yeah, he had a bit of a knock in race 2 and hit someone up the arse, and these things happen, and they are racing incidents, and the penalties will deal with that. But in terms of pace, it's been brilliant. Avalon Shadow in the 155. Anyone that questions how good this Alpha 155 really is as a GR4 car, if they've watched this, needs to give their fucking head a wobble, because that is a brilliant, brilliant car. Yes, it lacks a little bit in high-end speed, but it's got everything. Look, is it going to be a great car around Monza? Absolutely not. But any track like this with lots of different twists and turns, you would struggle to find a better car than the Alpha 155. BMW GMAC not really dialed it in as yet, but it is a good car. The Atenza, again, he's not dialed it in yet, but it can show some good pace. We have lost Cool Runnings. Totally understand, buddy. It would have been nice to see you race in race number 3, but at least you held it out for race number 1 and 2 to the end. It's going to take some time to get back to your best. But it would have been good to see you race anyway, and just put even a couple of points on the board, ready for race number for meet number 3 next week. Who else are we looking at? Aussie Rooster, very, very solid in that Lamborghini. He is always there or thereabouts, and if he can keep up that performance, finishing in and around that top 5, come the end of the season, he's going to be looking at a very, very distinct possibility of winning something here. Nick John Baker, WRX, not really got the speed out of the car today, but again, very solid. TJ getting much more out of that Renault Megane than anyone thought was possible. Yellow Sausages doing a great job as well in that Lancer. I mean, the Lancer's a great car, but you watch him racing, you forget that he can't walk. He's got severe damage to his leg and he can't walk, and yet he still dials that car in. So here we go. Are we ready for yet another race? It is slowest first. It is rolling start. Nick John Baker at the back of the pack. Aussie Rooster put in a terrible time. So he's in a really unique position here. GMAC as well in a really good position. How is this going to fare? Can we get the view we want? We can. With the rolling start, we can get the view we want. Or maybe we can't. No, there we go. Let's jump out and jump back in then quickly, shall we? Here we go. So Nick John Baker away in the lead. How long can he hold off everybody else? It goes through in first place. Aussie Rooster second. GMAC in third. Wiggy in fourth in the Atenza. TJ already up past Wiggy. Up into fourth place. Yellow Sausages in sixth place in that Lancer. Where are the quick guys? There's Craig in 7th. Avalon Shadow in a 155 is the front runner of the quick guys. Can he get the Alpha through quickly? Great overtake from Craig up into 6th round. Yellow Sausages. Can he make a move further up the field? He's up just behind Wiggy, looking to make a move, but Yellow Sausages takes that position back as they go into this quick section. Big move from PM10 up into 7th, up into 6th almost. Can he make the move here up the inside into 7th and make it stick? Craig goes wide, big spin, catches PM10. Craig off the racetrack, big racing instant PM10 off to the side. Craig off to the side. We're down to 11 runners here. Nick John Baker still holding the lead of this race. Aussie Rooster in the Lamborghini up into 2nd. They're starting to pull a gap on GMAC in the BMW. TJ in that Renault sticking with the battle. And big move. TJ up into 1st place. Big crash into the chicane of death. And TJ takes the lead of the race with GMAC following him through. It is number 1, Renault Megane. Number 2, BMW. Number 3, Mitsubishi Lancer. Avalon Shadow in a 155 in 4th place. Very, very strong position for him. The Atenza in 5th place. Very briefly, as we see Kevin in that Cayman up into 5th place. Stormfly in the Genesis in 6th. PM10, massive penalty for Aussie behind him. PM10 had it coming together. I say coming together, it wasn't his fault. It was a racing incident where Craig just lost the car and caught him. He's back in 8th place in that McLaren. He's got Aussie behind him in that Lamborghini, but a 5-second penalty to serve. Nick John Baker 5.7 seconds back in 10th place, and Craig, the last man on the racetrack, the only one left. We've lost 2 in this race, so Craig back 2 seconds back from Nick John Baker. So who are we missing? We're missing Cool Runnings. Who else are we missing? I'm relying on you. If you're watching, Jason, I'm relying on you to kind of tell me who we're missing. Because Phil. It looks like we've lost Phil as well. So TJ at the moment, and Avalon Shadow up into 2nd place, making the move. Is he making the move here? He does make the move. Can he make it stick? At the moment, TJ's got the inside line. They're going side by side. Absolutely stupid move. Trying to go side by side through the chicane of death. Only once can you pull off the crazy, batshit crazy overtake like that. And TJ wins out 2.1 seconds clear of Kevin. Avalon drops way down the order. Never should be going side by side there. Although, yeah, to be fair, he's already made an overtake there, so no reason why I wouldn't think he could do it again. So TJ in the lead. The gap is 1.5 seconds. Kevin 77 on those soft tyres in that Cayman. Currently 2nd. 8 tenths up from GMAC in the BMW. GMAC under pressure from Wiggy in the Atenza. Can he finally dial that Atenza in and start getting some points on the board? Yellow Sausages in the Lancer just back in 5th place. Stormfly in the Genesis in 6th. Can he close up? Kevin in a very, very strong position now. His biggest challengers being Avalon Shadow and PM10 back in 7th. Avalon Shadow and 8th. PM10 in the McLaren. Nick John Baker 8 seconds back from that battle. Aussie Rooster, the 3-second penalty to serve as well, which is going to throw him into the clutches of Aussie Rooster in the Lamborghini Huracan. And we know that Aussie can put some very good pace through that car. He's got Craig in last place just behind him, 8 tenths off him at the moment. Can Craig dial in the GTR? Just get a little bit closer. He's running soft tyres early doors, so he's going to have to pit soon. But TJ still holding out in front on those medium tyres, but has a wobble in the chicane of death and allows Kevin through into the lead of this race. Does that throw him into the clutches of the BMW GMAC? GMAC pulls out the slipstream. He's up the inside. GMAC up into 2nd place. Can he hold it? He's got the inside line. Who's got the traction? It looks like the BMW hasn't quite got the traction, but he has got the traction. Wiggy coming through as well. Wiggy up into the top 3 finally in that Tenza. TJ has to drop into 4th place, and Wiggy into 3rd. GMAC up into 2nd. Yellow Sausage is still just behind this battle in 5th place. All change in that top 3, apart from Kevin77, Mr. Alien himself. TJ making a move on Wiggy up the inside. He makes that move stick back up into the top 3, trying to regain 2nd place from GMAC in a BMW. Looked like a little bit of lag there. Thought the car was going sideways, clearly wasn't. Stormfly still in 6th place. Avalon in 7th. PM10 in 8th. Is this going to be a bit of a tyre-saving exercise from Losu to bring them back into the race later on? But Kevin77 has made his way through the pack. He's avoided any problems. He is already pulling out a gap now, 3.8 seconds. But we know that he is going to have to pit soon because of those soft tyres. GMAC in 2nd place. 4 seconds is the gap. He has got TJ climbing over the back of him. TJ has got Wiggy climbing all over the back of him. We're into that chicane of death again. What's going to happen here? Is everyone through cleanly? Little touch of the wall from TJ. Does that bring Wiggy in? It does. Wiggy makes the move up into 3rd place. TJ has to slot again into 4th. Does that throw him into the clutches of Yellow Sausages? Not quite close enough to capitalise. But we're watching as Avalon Shadow in that 155 makes a move up from 7th into 6th place, into 5th place even. So 2 places made up, and he goes through. Wiggy into the pits nice and early. Kevin in the lead from GMAC, from Avalon Shadow, from Yellow Sausages. Stormfly in the Genesis up to 6th place. PM10 still running in 7th. He is 5.8 seconds now off that battle for the top 3. Aussie Rooster, another 6 seconds back in the Huracan. Wiggy went into the pits. Very short pit stop for him in 9th place. Back out on the soft tyres. Little splash of fuel. Looking to go racy. He's got Nick John Baker behind him. But can he catch him? He's on those medium tyres. He's got to pit soon. Craig at the moment in the pits, just coming out in the GTR. He is at the back of the pack, having lost Phil and Cool Runnings for this final race. Now, these are half-hour races. We will have a little conversation as to whether to shorten these 3 races. But for me, I think half-hour has been an absolute brilliant format. And we'll speak to the guys and see what they think. But for me, I don't think we need to change anything because I think this is giving us some great racing. Kevin is way out in front now. 7.3 seconds. The BMW GMAC holding firm there in 2nd. But Avalon is all over the back of it in that Alpha 155, looking for any error. And Kevin pulls into the pits. Avalon a little bit wide, makes the move on GMAC. They are drag racing across the line, and Avalon up into 2nd place. Or we'll say that he takes the lead of the race because Kevin's in the pits. So GMAC drops to it'll be de facto 3rd once these guys pit. TJ back into the top 3, albeit very briefly. There is Yellow Sausages in the Lancer in 4th place, 2 seconds clear of Stormfly, who is running that Genesis. He's gone for a different strategy this time out. He's gone for a first stint on hard tyres. Is that the best move? Is that going to make a difference to the performance of this Genesis? PM10 in the McLaren, currently sitting in 6th place. He's got 7 seconds over Aussie Rooster. Aussie's going to have to pit very soon. If not this lap, then certainly at the end of lap 7. Wiggy has already pitted, done his first stop. He finds himself in 8th position, just behind Aussie Rooster, just a couple of seconds back in that Atenza. But he is closing the gap on the Atenza. In the Atenza on that Lamborghini Huracan. We say that until the straight comes, and then foot goes down and Huracan fucks off. But Kevin comes out of the pits behind Wiggy. Now, Wiggy on the softs will have to pit sooner, but is going to be a little bit racy. Now, If Kevin can't find his way around Wiggy before Wiggy pits, it's going to hold him up, and it's really going to affect his overall race. He was 7 seconds clear, but we know Wiggy is very, very good defending. So TJ goes through into the lead, hangs it out there. Avalon in the pits, G-Mac in the pits, Stormflyer through in second. Is this going to be a big seed change in the performance of this Genesis? Loving the way that this reverse grid and this slowest first really changes the format of a race that was very different just 10-15 minutes ago. There's Wiggy up into third. He has already pit. Both guys in front of him need to drop in. Wiggy could take, in the Atenza, the lead of this race. He's 2.5 seconds clear of Kevin 77 in that Porsche Cayman. They are 13 seconds clear of Avalon as Avalon comes out of the pits for his second stint on medium tyres. He is 3.8 ahead of Yellow Sausages and 2 seconds ahead. He's 3 seconds ahead of G-Mac. So G-Mac with a very slow stop there. Opted to fuel right to the top of the tank. So he's going to have to pit again. In fact, everyone's going to have to stop this race. There's nobody yet has had the balls to one-stop this race. And I don't think one-stopping is possible with the, 6 times fuel, 6 times tyres. Yellow Sausages comfortably in 6th at the moment. Nearly 5 seconds back from Avalon Shadow. G-Mac behind him now. Yellow Sausages has jumped him in that pit stop window. So G-Mac, despite being second on the racetrack, just a bit slow with his stop. But Yellow Sausages in front will have to pit before G-Mac does. G-Mac can hang the car out there a little bit longer. PM10 behind him, he's also pit. He's on those medium tyres. He's looking pretty quick though in that McLaren. Can he get past G-Mac and move up the order without waiting for pit stops? Big clip and all, that's not going to help him. Clips the wall, slides that back end, and at the moment the back of that car is going on a much longer trip than he's been able to, having lost out on his holiday due to Air France. Shitty Air France and shitty flights from Manchester. Anyway, where are we? TJ, 7.7 seconds clear in the Renault Megane. Now, who would have thought we would be telling you that Renault Megane was 8 seconds clear of any other car in the GR4 classes? But there he is. He's going to pit, I think, at the end of this lap. He certainly will pit at the end of lap 9 if he decides to hang it out there. There is Stormfly in the Genesis. Same situation. Running those hard tyres. But, I mean, if you look at the damage, that Genesis does to the front tyres here. Rear tyres don't really take any damage at all. But the front tyres just get absolutely ripped to shreds. Wiggy sitting relatively comfortably still in third place. Kevin's still not been able to get around him. He's a lot closer than he was. But Wiggy holding that Atenza firm in that top 3. But he's going to have to pit again. He went for a very bold strategy of soft. Kevin opted for the medium. He's going to run a little bit longer. He's got Avalon 12 seconds behind him. But with similar tyre and similar fuel wear, Avalon's going to have to start putting in some more of those 1 minute 40.5 laps that he's been chucking in. So Wiggy in the pits, Kevin goes through. We'll watch Avalon go through. We may see G-Mac in that BMW go through. It depends how brave Wiggy is now with the fuel. Does he fuel to the end, or is he going short again? Looks to me like he's going to go to the end of this race. So G-Mac is through. PM10 is through in the McLaren. These guys all have to pit again. TJ still not pitted for the first time. So here's the kicker. Is PJ, let's call him PJ, is TJ going to one-stop this race in the hope that gives him a really solid advantage? He is 10 seconds clear of Stormfly. Stormfly also looks to be going for that one-stop strategy. We're on lap 9. This will be an 17-18 lap race. I don't think the pace is quite an 18 lapper as it was in race number 2. But TJ and Stormfly, we will see them coming through the chicane of death as we watch. TJ through. The gap is 9.4 seconds. Stormfly is through. They're coming up to the final corner. And there is TJ as he pulls over to the right hand side. And we're going to see Stormfly do exactly the same thing. Takes the apex. Doesn't let the car drift too wide. Straight away to that right hand side. Here we go. Kevin will regain the lead of this race. Here he goes. Kevin 77 from the Hellenic Arts Racing team. Back into the lead of this race. 1.3 seconds clear of Stormfly at this time. Here comes Avalon. He will take second place in the Alpha 155. Really performing well, that car. There he goes in second. G-Mac through in the BMW. Does he stay in third? He's got PM10 Racing in the McLaren just behind him. They are through in third and fourth place. G-Mac holding firm in that top 3 right now. TJ out of the pits in 5th place. He's gone for mediums this time out. So, not planning on running to the end of this race then. He's planning on... or is he? No, I don't think he is. He can't be on the mediums. Yellow Sausages in 6th place on the hard tyres. He will need to pit again for fuel. He's got Craig crawling all over the back of him. Craig still needs to go into the pits, but he's got a few laps left before he's going to have to do that. Can he get that GTR round the Lancer of Yellow Sausages up the road a little bit? There is Wiggy. He ran 2 very quick early stints. He's on the softs again. He's opted to go for balls out racing, and whatever time he gains to lose in the pits. At the moment, he's sitting in 8th place. Both cars in front of him will pit before he does. How far up the racetrack can he get? He's got Aussie behind him on the mediums. Aussie's going to have to pit long before he does. They're all through there cleanly. They're coming up towards this chicane of death. Can they all get through without a little scrape on the wall? We'll go on board with Aussie as he crawls up the back of Wiggy. Dangerous place to be there coming through here. Can unsettle your car. You just have to back off a little bit. Little touch of the wall from Wiggy, and that gives Aussie a really good run in a Huracan. He pulls out side by side, takes 8th place from Wiggy into the final turn. Can Wiggy come back at him? Wiggy's got the inside line. Aussie shuts the door. Lastminute.com as Craig pulls off into the pits. So there he goes. Aussie through. Wiggy through. Where's Nick John Baker? Nick John Baker is coming through now. Stormfly in last place, but on those hard tyres. So he is looking to one-stop this race. Complete sea change of strategy for him. Not entirely sure how well this is going to pay off. I think if this one-stop is going to pay off, you need to be a little bit further up the racetrack. He's 4.5 seconds off the back of Nick John Baker. Look, you know, there are guys in front of him that have got to pit, but it's still a lot of work to do from 10th place to get anything out of this race with a one-stopper. So out in front, Kevin 77, 8.8 seconds, looking to demonstrate how he dominates. And we've got to say, every time this guy makes a mistake or makes a little slip up, he doesn't do it again. And he's put in an absolute stonking lap of a 140.6. Avalon Shadow 8 seconds back, however, has gone sub 140. We haven't seen a sub 140 lap this entire race, and the first man to do it is Avalon Shadow in that Alpha 155. How many people on this racetrack right now would beat him to death for a ride in that car? Beat him to death to take that car into the rest of this tournament. I tell you what, it's such a good car. He's 15 seconds clear of PM10. PM10, Kevin, Avalon Shadow, back in the top 3. We know what happened last time these 3 were in the top 3. It was a very, very close run thing. Not quite so close at the moment, but anything can happen. We are into the last 10 minutes of the final race of race number 2 in this GR4 lottery. And I'll tell you what, this GR4 lottery is going to be going on for a long time, because if this is how good things are only 2 races in, I can't wait for the rest of this season. G-Mac, I take G-Mac's in 4th. He's not, because TJ has taken that Renault past him into 4th, and G-Mac has to settle for 5th place in the BMW. Cannot keep up with the pace of TJ. Well, TJ goes wide, spins the car, G-Mac back up into 4th. TJ stares at some rocks as Aussie goes through, Yellow Sausages through, Wiggy through, Stormfly not quite close enough, but TJ spends some time staring at some rocks and looking at a barrier. There is Kevin77 in the pits. He's only 9 seconds clear. Avalon peels off, he's into the pits as well. Here comes PM10. Is PM10 going to stay out? I don't think he is. I think we're going to see him peeling as well. Their strategies started to marry up, just the same way that you would expect to see the quick runners all operating on the same kind of strategy. Where is G-Mac? There's G-Mac also pulling in. What about Aussie? Aussie going to pull in? Yeah, he is. All of the top 5 going in the pits. Wiggy going in. Yellow Sausages going in. TJ, he will stay out. But after staring at that wall, it's not going to give him very much track position. In fact, you could even argue that 10 seconds staring at the wall, he's going to make the move on Avalon's shadow. He's round the outside. I don't think he's going to make it stick. Avalon does close off the inside line, stays ahead. TJ looking to try and get up to speed before Avalon does in the Alpha coming out of the pits. Doesn't happen. Avalon stays in 2nd place. So TJ up to 3rd. Will he have to pit again? No. He can go to the end. But staring at those rocks has not helped him at all. If he had not crashed when he did, he would be probably about 7 seconds behind Kevin. But as it happens, oh, big spin! Spin from Avalon! He wants to stare at it. He wants to look at the rocks too. TJ comes up behind him. He says, look at them rocks over there. And there goes Avalon. But Avalon spins earlier and just gets to see a Marshall. He's back now in 4th place. Has to try and get the Alpha back under control and back up to speed. So Kevin now 19 seconds clear. Absolutely dominant today. And despite the penalty he received from race number 2, has been absolutely on top of this race in that Porsche Cayman. TJ comfortably in 2nd at the moment. 10 seconds Stormfly behind him in that Genesis. But this is a much better performance from the Genesis. Much better. And there's one stopper. I said the one stopper wasn't going to work out for him, but clearly I was talking bollocks, because he's up into 3rd. He's 4 seconds clear of PM10. The only issue I think I can foresee here is that his lap times are somewhere near 3 seconds slower than that of PM10. PM10 chucking in low 141s being his fastest lap. Stormfly hasn't done better than a 43.9. So that 12 seconds, what are we looking at? So we're looking at 17, let's say 17 laps of this race, because the early pace wasn't super quick. So in 3 laps, if it's 2 seconds a lap, it's going to be close. Can PM10 close that gap? We'll see. Wiggy in 5th, looking pretty quick as well. Can he close the gap on Stormfly? I'm actually beginning to wonder now, looking at the pace of Avalon and Wiggy and PM10, if Stormfly isn't all that comfortable in 3rd place. At the moment he seems to be. He's keeping that gap of 2 seconds. He's not closing too well on TJ, but the gap, albeit 2 seconds, PM10's on better tyres. Wiggy is on very much better tyres. He's already passed PM10. What a strategy that is, to just run soft all the way to the end of this race. Flew past PM10 then, up into 4th place. I think Stormfly needs to be afraid, be very afraid. PM10 for me must have had a problem, because the gap closed down very very quickly. But he is 1.1 seconds off the back of Wiggy already. Wiggy's closed. Stormfly 2, 3.7 seconds as we head towards lap 15 of 17 here at the Dragon Trail Seaside in race number 3, event number 2 of the GR4 Lottery. And of all the events that Black Flag have done, this I think is going to prove to be our flagship. This is a work of genius. Avalon Shadow in that 155, he's 4.9 seconds off the back of PM10. He went to have a look at the same rocks that TJ went to have a look at. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see the rocks. He just got to see a marshal. But he is now way back down that racetrack. He's antics of race number 1 and race number 2. Not repeated. Back in 6th place. 45 seconds off the lead of this race. He's got Aussie in that Huracan. 6 seconds behind him. But he is under big pressure from the BMW of GMAC. Can GMAC put Aussie to the sword? Make Aussie make a mistake in a Huracan? We know Aussie is very consistent. Doesn't often make mistakes. But is there just more pace in GMAC? In terms of tyres, very similar. In terms of fuel, very similar. Neither going to have a concern with that. Can GMAC make a move? Aussie putting that car in all the right places at the moment. GMAC late braking up the inside. Can he make the move stick? He certainly looked to have done. He does. GMAC gets that BMW ahead, but the traction on that Lamborghini just absolutely makes it difficult for GMAC, but he does stay ahead as Aussie has to pull out for the chicane of death. GMAC through clean. Big wobble at the back. So that wobble will put the traction of that Huracan, and there we go. And not so much rocket, but fuck it. He's just lost the place, and Aussie Rooster back up into 7th, 10 seconds behind Avalon Shadow. Yellow Sausages now looking to make a move himself on GMAC. Can he close up in that Lancer? He's only half a second back. He's got a good slipstream on the BMW. Can he make a move in these next couple of turns? The Lancer very nimble. GMAC on those brakes. Yellow Sausage is just looking for an opening. But at the moment, Aussie not able to pull that Huracan away from the BMW. So GMAC is not going to give this up. But Yellow Sausage is again looking for an opening. GMAC just puts the race car in the right places. Doesn't leave a gap for the Lancer to get through. And we go into this very quick section as we come up to sector 3. Can Yellow Sausage use the slipstream here on GMAC to make a move into that big right-hander where sector 2 finishes and sector 3 begins? He's very close. GMAC not getting slipstream off the Huracan in front. Big slipstream there, under braking. BMW slightly quicker on those brakes. Does stay ahead. Lancer not able to make the move. No change out front at the moment, but we're sticking with this as Yellow Sausages tries to make a move again on GMAC into the chicane of death. Everyone through cleanly. Another little wobble from GMAC in the BMW, but not enough this time to let the car behind get through. Nick John Baker, 3.9 seconds back from that. 17 seconds clear of Craig in last place. But out in front, absolutely dominant in race number 3. Kevin, 77, 25.5 seconds clear. If you bear in mind, in the last race, we had 3 cars. Any one of them could have won it on that last lap. This time, very dominant, 25 seconds clear. TJ, the big surprise here in that Renault Megane. We're on lap 17. Tyres looking ropey. If he wants this race to finish on this lap, because if he has to do another lap, he is absolutely bollocks. But Kevin will do another lap, and he's got the fuel to do so should he need to. PM10, 15 seconds back. He's not going to close the gap on TJ for me, because the race will be over at the end of this lap. Stormfly really solid in 4th. Is Avalon going to make the move on him though? Avalon looking very racing. There's only a few corners left to make the move. Is he going to make the absolute ballsy dive into the chicane of death that he did in the last race? to gain second place, I think it would be a very, very unwise decision to try and make that move here. Stormfly has to hit the brakes. His tyres aren't up to all that much clock. Avalon getting closer and closer. Can he steal fourth place? Coming up to the final turn. Kevin on to lap 18. There is TJ across the line in second. PM10 will take the last podium place in third. Avalon Shadow gets ahead of Stormfly, makes the overtake, up into fourth, takes fourth place on the last corner. Stormfly through in fifth, only just. Wiggy gets that Tenza home in sixth place, best of the rest, ahead of Aussie Rooster in the Huracan, but that was very, very close there. Yellow Sausages in the Lancer home in eighth. GMAC couldn't hold them off in the BMW. Comes home in ninth place, but 9 seconds clear of Nick John Baker. We say that Nick John Baker loses out to Craig on the last corner. Craig makes the overtake up into 10th. What a finish from Craig in the GTR. And Nick John Baker again runs out of fuel on the last lap and loses a place. So the only man left on the racetrack is Kevin. He's got lap 18 to finish. He comes round the final turn. Everyone else sitting waiting for the race winner. He wins 3. He will lose one of those results due to penalties, but 3 wins from 3 races. Kevin 77. What an absolute doozy of a race. So that's Kevin 77 from TJ in the final race of the 3. And I've got to say, I've already said this once, but of all the races we've done, that was an absolute fucking doozy. We have put on some really, really good races in the past, but nothing quite as amazing as race number 2 here. But every single one has been full on. GR4 Lottery is proving to be a masterstroke of genius in terms of competition. And well done to everybody that has participated so far. It's been a really, really solid performance from everyone. PM10 gets himself into the top 3 in that final race. Little consolation from losing out on his holiday. But what can you say? Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant from everyone. So, not much more for me to say, but that is the end of the 3 races. I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag E-Racing TV. And it has very, very much been incredibly emotional. We will see you. When will we see you? We'll see you later this week, and we'll talk about what's going on. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you very, very soon.